Welcome to Strategy Sunday. It's Jamila, and we are still in my 6-step process of how to get what you want. Last week we discussed step number 1, which was to make room for what you're asking or working for by physically and emotionally removing whatever's in the way. And so today we're going to talk about prepare. Step 2, prepare. This is the time to do research and learn all you can about your new endeavor so you can succeed at it. Take what you learn and implement it immediately. Begin engaging in all the activities you can that you will need to do once you receive what you're asking or working for. So this particular step is kind of interesting, and for me, this is actually the one that I would say I probably thrive in the most, because once I make my mind up that I want something or I'm going to do something, then I'm going to find out everything there is to know about it, because I'm going to make sure that I do it the right way, okay? So going back to those 2 scenarios that I mentioned in the first video, and I highly would recommend, if you're starting here, that you stop and go back and watch step 1, because you'll get the background, and it's important that you go in order, okay? Even though some of these steps are happening simultaneously, in order for you to get the full explanation and understanding, it's important that you watch the videos in order. So, how do you prepare? So with my 2 scenarios, so I mentioned that after my divorce, I decided, of course, that I wanted eventually, after healing and grieving, that I wanted to be in a new relationship. Well, basically, in order to prepare for that, hey, I hadn't dated or none of that in, almost 2 decades, right? So I needed to get up to date, and so I studied everything that I could get my hands on that had to do with dating and marriage. And of course, according to the standards of my faith, and because that's important to me. And I just, read and studied everything, because I wanted to make sure that I had the proper viewpoint on both dating and marriage, and that my viewpoint was up to date, that it wasn't, some way of thinking that no longer was, valid or good or whatever. So that's how I prepare for that. And with that scenario, you really can't necessarily, put anything into practice that you learn, other than I viewed it as being prepared so that if and when the opportunity arose, or if and when someone came into my life, I was ready. I had the things to look for, the questions to ask, how to do it in such a way so that everything was, above the board and proper and all of that. And so that's what I did. Because if you are sitting around and trying to make something happen, and then it happens and you haven't prepared and you're not ready, not only is it not going to work out, but you're going to totally blow it and do it all bad and backwards. And chances are it's not going to be what you wanted anyway, because you just weren't even ready. And so that's why it's important to be prepared, especially if you're looking for a new relationship. You got to prepare to be in a new relationship. What does that take? What does that mean? What does that look like? And so when it came to TTCing for that rainbow baby, preparation for me involved. So my first son was born prematurely, right? And my bag of waters broke because of stress from work and other things. And, I felt like if he had been full term, then obviously he wouldn't have ended up in the NICU, and then he would not have even been in a position to have, been affected and died and whatnot. So I said, well, my bag of waters broke. So if I get pregnant again, I'm about to have bag of waters of steel. So my preparation involved research on what vitamins and minerals to take in order to strengthen my bag of waters, my amniotic sac. And once I did the research and determined what vitamins and minerals I was going to take, what treatments were available, all this and that, and I, of course, wanted to do things natural, and once I determined what those vitamins were, I started taking them immediately. I was not going to wait until I was pregnant. I started taking them right away. I said, I want this baby to be conceived in a nutrient-rich environment so he could just grow and thrive. It's probably why he's so smart, and his his head was always in the higher percentile. But anyway, it was all that DHA I was taking, right? So that's how I prepared for that. Is I did my research and I wanted to make sure that I was already doing all of the things that I wanted to be doing if and when I got pregnant. So I was already in motion. Do you see what I'm saying? So that's how you prepare when it comes to whatever it is you're asking or working for. You got to do your research and get yourself up to date, get your knowledge, decide how you want to carry things out, and then to whatever extent you can, start doing it. Start doing those things. So that is step 2. Now, step 3, we will discuss next Sunday. And step 3 is keeping your head in the game and staying focused. Now, as I mentioned on the first video, there is one caveat to this 6-step process, and that is that you have to be 100% clear on exactly what it is that you want. Otherwise, it's not going to work. So if you're not sure what you want, if you still feel like, well, I don't know, then, and feel like you need some help, then absolutely reach out to me. Let's set up a time to talk. And, I'm a coach. This is what I do. And maybe I can help walk you through some steps and processes and help you figure it out and get some clarity so then you can implement these steps and start seeing some change and momentum in your life towards your goals and those things that you really want to have and experience. The other thing is you can't use this for anything sinister or anything, negative or bad. This process, of course, is just for those things that are good and enriching and come from a place of genuineness and sincerity and happiness and love and, positive, all those things. So won't work if you want something bad, and it won't work if you ain't ready and you don't even know what you want. So, like I said, that's step 2. Next week is step 3. Please, if you are on my Instagram, feel free to follow me at Coach Jamila LV. If you are watching this on YouTube, please subscribe to my channel. If you're on Instagram and you want to subscribe to my YouTube, I do have the link in my bio on my Instagram profile. And if you're watching this on Facebook, same thing, the links are available. I'll put the information down below. And then I also want to mention that if you're actually interested in getting your full copy of How to Get What You Want, your own copy of it, simply go to my website, CoachJamila.com, and you can subscribe, and I will send it to you, or you can fill out the Contact Me section, and I will send it to you, and you can have it. And then if you have any questions or if you want some additional one-on-one help in implementing this process, then we can chat about that and talk about that at that time. All right, so thanks for tuning in, and I look forward to seeing you next week.